of Rajasthan over the last 30 years. Not since Bhairav Singh Shekhawat in 1993 and then winning again in that period has any chief minister been re-elected. So we are going back to 30 years where governments have changed. Rahul, this is a state where there is a lot of interest because Rajasthan has seen a lot of political turbulence in the last 5 years.
You know, which is the state where there is less interest? I mean, the amount of excitement there is around these elections is just phenomenal. It should be a formulaic process, elections come and go, but really, elections get people more excited than anything else apart, say, from cricket. In Rajasthan, let's take you through the first answer that we are putting out. This is in response to the question, why did you vote the way you did? And this is important because it gives you a sense of why people cast their vote in the manner in which they chose to. So favorite party is 20%, development of the state is 16%, because of the MLA candidate is 12%, because of Prime Minister Modi is 8%. Remember in Chhattisgarh it was 5%, in Rajasthan it's even more. Of all the people who voted the way they voted, 8% voted because of Prime Minister Modi. Take that 8% away, Rajasthan looks different. So that is a very significant number there because 8%, that's a very big number. 8% of all those who voted the way they did, voted because of Prime Minister Modi in an assembly election where he's not even on the ticket. Who do people want as the next chief minister? Let's just take you through the responses to these questions. Ashok Gehlot comes in at 32%. Interestingly, Mahant Balaknath comes in at 10%. Anybody from the BJP at 21%. Now, not much Preeti is known about the Mahant outside Rajasthan. He's a big phenomena on social media and on the regional networks. But people would have probably been expecting, say, a Vasundhara Raje there, and she's not there.
But she's quite close. She's 9% in her thing. But, you know, why him, Rahul, is because when we're talking about polarization, why polarization was such a big poll issue for the BJP. He's the sitting MP from Alwar. And now he's fighting from the Tijara seat in Alwar district. But he has a tough ask where it comes down to winning his particular seat. I'd want to know if he's actually winning his seat or not because it has a sizable Muslim population. But he has become the picture boy of polarization where Rajasthan is concerned. Yogi Adityanath has come to his own constituency, to campaign. He's been looked and built as the Yogi of Rajasthan. So you have the bulldozer standing next to him when he is, campaigning. Lots of things which he said which haven't gone down too well, especially even with the election commission. But he's fighting a tough battle, I'd say. He's a sitting MP fighting from the seat of
The man whose neck is on the line, Pradeep Gupta has just come to our studio. Gupta ji ko bulao, bhai, aa jao. Gupta ji, welcome. Ye phir sabko tension dene wale hain. Because, he'll make his numbers and then he'll go back home and then everybody will be like, is he right, is he wrong? And then there's full song and drama and dance happening around whether Gupta ji is going to botch it up or will he get it right. 94% track record. That's where you stand at this moment. No pressure, huh?
Lots of pressure always.
His phone is shut because so many people were calling.
Result before result. That's what we try and do all the time. Sometimes we are successful, which is 94% time, and sometimes we could not.
Kursi lao, bhai, kursi lao. What are you most nervous about today?
My home state,
Madhya Pradesh.
Madhya Pradesh.
And your sasural is in
Chhattisgarh, and I studied in Tealangana, Kakatiya University. So 3 states at the stake at this point of time.
And of that, you're most nervous about Madhya Pradesh?
No, I am not nervous about Madhya Pradesh because Madhya Pradesh, I cannot afford to go wrong for sure.
Why not? Jute padenge ghar jaoge.
Jute padenge. Oh. I cannot show my face.
I can't go back home.
And that to my own constituency, Varasuni constituency, last time also independent one there. Can you believe that?
Did you get it right or wrong?
100% right. So expectation are rising high in my home.
No, but as I've been saying from the time we started, we want to keep expectation real. See, in the World Cup, India won 10 matches straight, right? Yeah. And then everybody thought, oh, to sahi hone wala hai, ho hi nahi sakta, India ko jitna hi jitna. And then they didn't really win, right? So we don't want to end up in that kind of a situation. Gupta ji, your chair is here. Please come and sit.
Thank you, ji.
Park yourself.
Kursi ka sawal hai.
Our producers have their music already. Rajdeep's been practicing his dance moves. Rajdeep, have you? You're all set to jive?
No, I think we'll wait. Look, the dance will come if our numbers are right. We already have a few.
So what comes if the numbers are not right? God forbid.
We'll just sit and, we'll still analyze. It's still an election at the end of the day. You can get them right or wrong. But I think Rajasthan is fascinating since you're talking about it.
No, but I was told by somebody in Guptaji's team, he now as a choreographer, he's been practicing his moves. Somebody told him he really
he's a natural dancer, I'm not. You see, the difference between Guptaji and me is that he's a natural dancer.
He's blushing.
Plus,
boss, don't blush about dancing, blush about your numbers.
Plus, Guptaji's bank balance has been rising. Mine hasn't. So you see, all of that means that Guptaji has more to celebrate in 2023 than I do.
You asked me one more thing why I'm nervous, because being my home state, Madhya Pradesh, I have been getting more than 200 calls almost every day or every alternate day.
And they saying,
it is very difficult for me to make people understand. मेरा जो मुंह है वो एक हमारे गांव में कहावत होती है, किसान जो होता है कोलू का बैल, आई एम लाइक अ बुल. कोलू का बैल होता है जो हार्वेस्टिंग के समय पे प्रोसेसिंग में वो बैल के मुंह में कपड़ा बांध देते हैं इसलिए कि वो फसल खा ना जाए. तो माई क्लाइंट्स आर लाइक दैट, वो मेरे मुंह में कपड़ा बांध देते हैं, वो कहते हैं तुम पहले ही बता दोगे तो मेरा चैनल कौन देखेगा भाई.
As long as he's not a bull in a China shop, we're okay. We don't want him to be a bull in a China shop.
Commission checks their results with you. Is that also the case? They are like, ठीक लग रहा है आपको?
You are being very kind, nothing like that. And this is how we do. Our Access My India team goes to not only each and every assembly constituencies, but at least 10 to 15 villages and cities and towns of that constituency, and that is what makes our poll whatever it is.
I think, to come back to Rajasthan, because I think what you're seeing in Rajasthan is a transformation. When you showed those first numbers and you can put them on, kaun banega chief minister. Traditionally, you would have had Vasundhara Raje out there. She would have been the face of the BJP. She's been the face for the last 20 years. Now, the moment you don't project her, you suddenly find that Ashok Gehlot, who has towered over all else, including the Gandhi family. You look at the posters in Rajasthan, particularly 6 months ago, it was all about Gehlot. As the election came closer, he was sharing space in the odd poster with a Rahul Gandhi or a Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. But a relatively, or seen as a non-charismatic leader, not a personality cult, suddenly finds himself at the age of 72 being transformed into this larger-than-life figure in Rajasthan politics.
Okay.
I don't think even he would have imagined that the day would come.
I want to start showing our viewers the numbers for Rajasthan. We'll start with the gender-wise breakup, men and women. And we saw in Chhattisgarh how there was a big gap between the number of men voting for the BJP and the women voting for the BJP, and likewise the Congress. So there's a big difference between how genders are voting, and they're not always voting the same way. Let's show you the gender-wise breakup for Rajasthan. Again, very interesting. We've seen in many states women voting for the BJP much more than the Congress. Is it the same or the other way around in Rajasthan? Here it is on your screen for the first time, the gender-wise breakup of Rajasthan. And oh boy, is this a confusing picture or what? Amongst men, the BJP leads over the Congress. 42% votes amongst the men voters of Rajasthan for the Bharatiya Janata Party. 40% men voted for the Congress. That's a 2% gap. The BJP increasing its vote share amongst women by 4 from the last time. If you looked at how men voted, well, it would seem the BJP is through. They've got a 2% lead in a bipolar election. That looks comfortable. Just come across to the other side of the table. Amongst the women voters of Rajasthan, 44% of the women said they voted for the Congress versus 40% for the BJP. Congress and Gehlot increasing their votes amongst women by 4%. Preeti, a lot of the social schemes of Ashok Gehlot giving him this, because the Prime Minister, the BJP typically thinks because of all their schemes for women, they've got women voters rooting for them. In Rajasthan, it's Gehlot who's got 4% additional votes from the last time amongst the women.
Well, you're right there, and I saw that, Rahul, you cut across regions, what you saw, the women talking of, and I'll give you, for example, a cylinder, which is 500 rupees. Then they talk about the Indira Smartphone Yojana, which is that, that women in Rajasthan would be given a smartphone. It started off from the widow women and then, to college-going girls. So a lot of these women have been given these smartphones as well. They're talking about that. One might forget or think that Chiranjeevi Yojana, which is their health scheme, is not targeted at women. But women look at it and talk about it a lot because the budget is from their own account. So a lot of the women spoke of the health scheme which Gehlot has offered. And in terms of that, I'll tell you a really funny story. I remember I was in Sikar and I was sitting and I had these college girls with me, and one was a BJP supporter, one was a Congress supporter, but away from ideology, they are thinking and they're asking me, देखिए मैडम, अगर बीजेपी जीतती है तो वो हमको स्कूटी देगी, अगर कांग्रेस जीती है वो लैपटॉप देगी, हमको लगता है स्कूटी बेहतर है, लैपटॉप तो पापा दिला देंगे. So that's how transactional they've become.
So now, if men and women threw you off and you're wondering, oh my God, if that's the case, then who's winning? Let me show you what's happening in the different geographies of Rajasthan. So we look at urban areas in Rajasthan, we look at rural areas in Rajasthan. In rural areas, you've got the Congress leading over the BJP. So the Congress has 43% of the vote share. The BJP has 40% of the vote share. In the rural areas, in the urban areas, the BJP at 44% of the vote share, the Congress at 42%. So Congress is 2% behind in rural areas, but 2% ahead in urban areas. But the thing is that because there are more rural areas in a state like Rajasthan than the urban areas, that is to the Congress's advantage. Let's now show you the caste-wise breakup of Rajasthan. And this again is very interesting because communities, castes voting very differently from each other. So we'll start with the Dalits. There are 18% Dalits in the state of Rajasthan. 57% of them said they voted for the Congress. Only 26% voting for the BJP. Amongst the tribals, and the BJP made a big tribal outreach in Rajasthan. 15% of the total population is tribals. 51% of the voters said they voted for the Congress. 29% said they voted for the BJP. Amongst the Dalits and amongst the tribals, the Congress doing extremely well. Amongst the Muslims, there are 9% Muslim voters in Rajasthan. 83% of them voted for the Congress. If these were the only three communities voting, the Congress was home. However, let's now go beyond that because there are 20% general category voters. Amongst them, 62% voted for the BJP. 62% versus 22% voting for the Congress. Can we move on, please? I want to show you what the Jats said. There are 10% Jats in Rajasthan. Out of them, 42% said they voted for the BJP. 36% said they voted for the Congress. Amongst the Gujars, 43% voting for the BJP, 39% voting for the Congress. Amongst the OBCs, 55% voting for the BJP, 29% voting for the Congress. That 21% OBC voters. That, Gupta ji, was bada mushkil kaam hai aapka. When voting patterns are so divided, it's not a trend election where everybody is voting one way, and if everything's flowing one way, it's much easier to count your beans. In this election, Gupta ji, your neck is on the chopping block.
Yeah, definitely yes, Rahul, because here there are 3 blocks to be precise. One is that SC, STs, Muslims, which contributes 42% of the population. The other blocks is Rajput, Brahman and OBCs, which again contributes about 42%. But what is most important here is the Gurjar and Jat votes, which is roughly 14%. So bulk lion share is of the ST, SC and Muslim goes to the Congress, and the lion share of OBCs, Brahman and General and Rajput goes to the BJP. But if you see that in Gurjar and Jat, though BJP is scoring little more than Congress, but the kind of consolidation done in rural areas by the Congress, I think Congress seems to be little ahead than the BJP. And when vote share comes, BJP always winning with big margins in urban areas. Last time, both the parties secured 39% each. But see the difference in seats, 72 to BJP and 100 to Congress. This is the difference. This is what the story of Rajasthan, which is so difficult geographically also.
I think there was a sense that the youth voter had deserted the BJP. There were huge paper leak scandals that have angered the youth. This is a state with a high level of joblessness. And at some stage, you're going to have to look at the youth voter. The 18 to 25 voter is just as important over time as is the woman voter. Woman voter, of course, much larger in size. But in Rajasthan, you'll find that the younger voter is the one whom the BJP was able to attract. But it's the woman voter. Look at Gehlot, 44 to 40. The schemes directed at women. You see, when you have a generic scheme, it may not have the same importance. But with Chiranjeevi, which was the buzzword, Chiranjeevi is the one scheme, the health insurance scheme, which in every village at least has become a talking point. People know about it. I think one of the successes of Ashok Gehlot is in the last year was able to communicate, I can give you 25 lakh insurance for any operation you do. Now, who is the major beneficiary of it? Men and women. But women remember it more. You see, if you contribute to health education, that's a lesson that's coming out. Women will remember you. And I think if Ashok Gehlot is able to pull off and beat this rivage of Rajasthan of 5 years, it's because his delivery schemes have been aimed at the more vulnerable sections. Pradeep's numbers clearly show rural Rajasthan is where the election is won or lost. If Ashok Gehlot is able to maintain this lead in large parts of rural Rajasthan, he's got a real chance. And this at a time when you would have thought, again, like Chhattisgarh, where you thought Baghel is through. 6 months ago, you were writing off Gehlot. You thought Gehlot is over. Pilot has rebelled against him. The Gujars have left him. The BJP is going to come naturally back to power as part of the 5-year cycle. Guess what? Ashok Gehlot is fighting back. So this is one of the stories within a story that if these numbers are right, that Ashok Gehlot cannot be written off, and he's transformed himself at the age of 72 into a potential vote catcher out.
You know, the first 4 regions of Rajasthan, we now have the data for. So I'll take you through the data for the first 4 regions of Rajasthan. So I'll start with Bikaner, Jaisalmer. There are 20 seats here, 19 of them went to the polls. Bikaner, Ganganagar, Hanumangarh and Jaisalmer. Here are the forecasts of Access My India and India Today for the belt of Bikaner, Jaisalmer. The Congress expected to bag 11 seats here, the BJP 6. So the Congress in the first region, yes, you can pull out your papers or your pens and you can take your own mats if you want to get to us before we actually put out the numbers. You can do that too. But 11 versus 6 in Jaisalmer, Bikaner, the Congress having the edge. Let's now come to Shekhawati. 21 seats here, Churu, Jhunjhunu and Sikar. In the region of Shekhawati, let me show you the numbers for the region. Here, the Congress again has the edge. 12 seats for the Congress, 7 for the BJP, a 3% gap in terms of vote share, 42 plays 39. The Congress winning 2 regions. So the Congress off to a good start. If this was cricket, the Congress off to a good start in the region-wise breakup of Rajasthan.
And this is a particularly important region. This is the Jat belt. You see, traditionally, you win elections in Rajasthan if you win Mewar. That's the buzz in Rajasthan. Jo jeetta hai Mewar, wo chunav jeetta hai. But you have to win, in my view, Shekhawati and Eastern Rajasthan. For the BJP to win Rajasthan, they've got to turn around Shekhawati and Rajasthan.
Shekhawati history has been, they will go where the state goes.
And what is interesting here is my friend Hanuman Beniwal seems down and out.
Hanuman Beniwal actually is not very influential in Shekhawati. He's more influential in the Nagaur area.
No, they've included the seats here. I think they've included the district here. Therefore, I sense that he hasn't done as well as perhaps he would have hoped to do.
But if you look at it, look at Hanuman Beniwal's party. The RLP, 23 seats were 2018, where it came 3rd in number. But if you look at it, it harmed the BJP more. 17 of those seats where it ate into the BJP share. So even if the Jat vote is getting eaten up, it's at the cost of the BJP by the RLP.
Let's come now to Ahirwal. This is the 3rd region of Rajasthan, the first 2 going to the Congress. The 3rd one, let's see what's happening in Ahirwal. This is Alwar, Bharatpur, Dholpur, which is where Vasundhara Raje Scindia comes from. So 11 seats in Alwar, 7 in Bharatpur, 4 in Dholpur. In that, a very tight fight. 9 leads for the BJP, 10 for the Congress. So it's a 1% gap in vote share. 39 is playing 40 and only a 1% gap in seat share. 1 seat gap between the BJP and the Congress, 10 versus 9. From there, let's come to Mewar, which is Banswara, Bhilwara, Chittorgarh, Dungarpur, Pratapgarh, Udaipur. Let's show you what's happening in Mewar, also called the Wagad area. 35 seats here. Let's show you what's happening in Mewar for the first time on your screen. First 3 going to the Congress. Now, is there a twist in this tale? The story seems to be changing because in the Mewar area, the BJP winning quite comfortably. 20 leads for the BJP in Mewar versus 12 for the Congress. 8-seat gap. So a lot of the leads that the Congress had picked up in the first 3 regions wiped out the moment we come to Mewar. 20 versus 12. आप तो प्रदीप जी heart attack कराओगे किसी का.
See, Mewar also last time, Rajdeep though said, the same number of seats what our poll is showing, 12 to Congress and 20 to BJP, it was same. Mewar has been very, very strong for the BJP. Yeah.
Interesting again, because in Mewar, you would have expected some of the smaller parties like the BTP, which picked up seats last time. But the BTP this time is down as per your survey. You've got 3. I'm presuming the 3 others are the BTP.
Now BTP become
which
Bap.
is in Dugarpur.
Now Bap. BTP become Bap.
Because they've broken, the party has broken. This is the party of Chotubhai Vasava, tribal party which won 3 seats last time in Dungarpur. Presumably they are winning those 3 seats again.
2 for sure.
Okay, let's now come to Marwar. This is also called the Godwar area. 41 seats here. This includes the area of Barmer, Jalore, Jodhpur, Nagaur, Pali and Sirohi. So in the 41 seats of the Marwar area, let's take our viewers through what Gupta ji is predicting for India today. And remember, in the first 3 regions, the Congress had a lead, a slender lead. In the 4th region that we showed you of Mewar, the BJP winning quite handsomely. So what's happening in Marwar? Let's take you through what's the trend in these 41 seats of Marwar. I also have trends now for the region of Hadoti. 17 seats in Hadoti. I'll take you through these 17 seats as well. This includes Bundi, Jhalawar, Kota, Baran. Let's take you through what's happening in Hadoti. Here again, the second region where the BJP is now in the lead. So it's 3 versus 2. 11 leads here for the BJP, 6 for the Congress. The BJP has a 3% vote share gap in the smallest region of Hadoti. The smallest region of Rajasthan, the BJP with a 5-seat lead advantage. So remember 7 total regions in Rajasthan. We've shown you for the first 5. In the first 5, the Congress currently leading on 3, the BJP on 2. And Chetan, you thought that cricket commentary is more interesting. Boss, this is going ball by ball, region by region.
This is the same what happened after 10 overs.
After 10 overs?
In the India-Australia match.
India-Australia, we don't want to talk about.
We have to get
our cricketing World Cup is only till the win against New Zealand. After that, we don't
to get over that pain for this generation.
No, but this is not surprising. This is a region the BJP has traditionally done well. This is the area of Vasundhara Raje. This is an area where the BJP has had its chief ministers, whether it's Bhairo Singh Shekhawat, whether it's Vasundhara Raje. But what is fascinating as you're doing this region by region is to show how a state is broken up now. This is the big change in Indian politics. If you look at the big BJP victories of 2003 and 2013 in Rajasthan, they would sweep the state. They would be 130, 140, 150. Now what's happening is it's going region by region. Because I think the voter is looking at the performance of the MLA also this time. And both parties, if there is one mistake they've made, they've not been able to change enough sitting MLAs. So you've got a lot of sitting MLAs who've struggled, Rahul, in this election. Ashok Gehlot was only able to drop 17. He wanted to drop more, but he felt obliged to those who had stuck by him through good times and bad in the last 5 years.
So 3 versus 2, 2 regions to go. I now come to Marwar. 41 seats here. This is the region of Barmer, Jalore, Jodhpur, Nagaur, Pali and Sirohi. Let's take you through what's happening in Marwar. Now this is really, really nerve-wracking because you've got a very close contest, and in Marwar as well, you've got 28 leads for the BJP versus 18 for the Congress. It's a pollster, politician, pundit nightmare. 41 versus 40. When it is so tight, sir, ये तो थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे margin of error में ही आ जाता है.
Let me tell you, this is where the Gehlot is coming from, the Jodhpur. Very strong, traditionally been for Congress.
No, but hardly this time BJP is in the lead.
But this time BJP is in lead. Last time 20 to Congress and 16 to BJP. This time 18 to Congress and 20 to BJP. So each seat is switching the side seams.
So there's one region which is left, and our producers are also keeping us on the edge. They're saying 1 minute aur chahiye. We are working on Jaipur. So our producers are saying we're just punching in the numbers. Gupta ji bhi last minute tak kaam. You know, he's like that student who in an exam that he's writing out wants to write till the very last minute. You know, this election got over about several days ago, and if he'd just given us everything in time, it would have been a very smooth show, very slickly produced, but the numbers came in like minutes before Gupta ji came. And therefore now our producers are saying, say, 1 minute aur chahiye.
You correctly pointed out, Rahul, the only fundamentals for the accuracy is to double check. When you are submitting your answer
Sir, हमें भी double check करने का मौका मिलना चाहिए ना?
That's what I'm saying. When you are submitting your answer sheet to the examiner, if you can recheck and double check it, I'm sure you can improve upon.
But are you surprised what you're seeing, Rahul, Rashid? You know, the fact is, 6 months ago, everyone said Ashok Gehlot is down and out. Clearly with these numbers, and I'm not looking at other channels at the moment, many of which are predicting a much stronger performance by the BJP, I can tell you, our numbers are clearly showing Ashok Gehlot is certainly not out and not even down.
Rahul, Rajdeep, I think it's the outcome that determines everything. There is a bit of a paradox. If the 4%, female votes are voting for the Congress, it's not showing in, in the caste groups, etc., or for that matter in regions also. So there is something amiss here.
See, for me, like Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, both Congress government, and the micro data is basically showing very different patterns. In Chhattisgarh, the younger voters are voting for BJP. In Rajasthan, the younger voters are voting for Congress. Female voters in Chhattisgarh for BJP, female voters here in case of Congress. So very interesting sort of like, micro data and it's fascinating.
Okay, now, I just received message,
Yes.
Jaipur is in.
The
So this is also
largest
Dhundhar, and I want to show you what's happening on these seats. In the 44 seats of the Jaipur region, the largest region of the state of Rajasthan, this includes Dausa, Ajmer, Jaipur, Karoli, Savai Madhopur and Tonk. And remember, the seat of Tonk itself is the bellwether seat of Rajasthan. Whichever way Tonk goes is the way Rajasthan goes, and that's been happening in every election since 1985. So take that election nugget if you're a data geek like I am. Here is Jaipur, 26 for the Congress, 17 for the BJP, 45 versus 42. This is also the area where Sachin Pilot comes from. So while a lot of this election is about Ashok Gehlot, Sachin Pilot, especially in his own belt around Dausa, also expecting to do well. So we've taken you through the regions. Now, if you were adding up each of the regions as we were taking you through what is happening, and a lot of people I know are, then you already know what the results is. But if you're just sitting and having your coffee or whatever else it is that you want to have at this time of the day, let's take you through the overall breakup of Rajasthan. Coming up on your screen now for the first time, the India Today Access My India vote share projection for the state of Rajasthan. Like was the case in Chhattisgarh, Access My India projects for the India Today group that Rajasthan is going down to the wire. 42 plays 41, a very close contest this. Rajdeep, if it's 42 versus 41, what I will show next, if you like running numbers yourself, 42 versus 41, you can run any which way you want, but that's a very close contest there, Rajdeep.
Look, in vote share, Rajasthan has always been close. If you look at it last time, they were virtually a fraction away from each other, and yet the Congress got about 28 seats more than the BJP did. So if you look at vote share, Rajasthan will not give you the clear picture because, as Pradeep said, BJP tends to win big in Rajasthan. They tend to win big, particularly in the urban areas, and the Congress tends to win by narrower margins. So actually, if these vote share numbers remain, Congress has reason to believe they're in the game.
I think the independents are in the game because we are not counting in the independents in this
there is
election.
no state.
1% extra for Congress, as Rajdeep is saying in close election, it means a lot for the Congress.
Sure, the fact is that I think for our viewers, the interesting point of Rajasthan is others. In fact, at 15%, they are even lower than they've been at times. At times, they've been almost close to 20%. Yeah. Rajasthan is one of the few states where in a two-party state, the two parties last time got both less than 40%. Yeah. So you had the independents getting 20%, and independents have dictated governments. Bhairav Singh Shekhawat, after the Ram Rath Yatra of 1993, had to take the support of independents to form a government. Independents, smaller parties, and some of them are remarkable.
2018,
yeah,
Rajasthan.
But he had 99 and he just needed a couple. But independents play a big role in Rajasthan. Most of them are rebels. Yeah. There is the buzz in Rajasthan market ki Vasundhara ke logo. You see what Vasundhara, if these are your numbers, and we'll come to your numbers, Vasundhara Raje will be looking at them carefully and saying, "Yaar, mere aadmi kitne aa rahe hain independent se?"
You know,
and those could make a difference.
am I allowed to tell you a small story? Yunus Khan, one of the closest
That's right.
confidants of Vasundhara Raje.
And the only Muslim who was from the BJP was denied a ticket this
was
time.
denied a ticket in 2018. He was sent to Tonk to fight against Sachin Pilot
Lost.
from his stronghold Didwana. And then he lost. Then he's come back right now. He was denied a ticket and he's fighting as an independent from Didwana, in all probability winning that seat.
Okay,
So,
I just received some snapshots sent to us by a producer who's looking at some of the other channels, and they're also talking about the India Today Access My India numbers. Now, this is pretty unprecedented because typically channels would like to talk, or I hope they would want to talk about their own numbers. Instead, they're talking about the India Today Access My India poll. So why go elsewhere? Just stay here, keep watching. Coming up now on your screen for the first time, the India Today Access My India projection for Rajasthan. 42 versus 41 in terms of votes. This is how it translates into seats. 96 wins for the Congress versus 90 for the BJP, 13 others. Remember, there are 200 total seats, out of which 199 went to polls. You need 101 to form the government. If you take most of those 13 to the BJP, 90 plus 13, they could end up close to 100. If it's 96, Gehlot has the means to be able to pull some of them. Rajdeep, 90 versus 96, is the BJP's 90 more valuable than the Congress's 96? Is Gehlot secure at 96 if he gets this?
This is very similar to 1993. Since then, you've usually had elections, barring last time when the Congress was in the 90 to 100. The Congress usually, when it's won, has won with narrow margins. When the BJP's won, they've won big. You see, when I look at the vote share, I think the BJP will be worried with these numbers. If I look at seat share, you could say both have a chance because there are enough rebels of the BJP, there'll be enough rebels of the Congress, there'll be the BSP, there'll be the RLP, there'll be the BTP or the BAP party as it's now called. They'll all be there. There could be even the odd RLD candidate.
The left is left as well.
Shekhawati region. So anything could happen. Pratap Singh Khacheriawas is joining us, Cabinet Minister, Food, Civil Supplies in the Rajasthan government, now a close aide of Ashok Gehlot, was once seen with the pilot camp. Pratap Singh ji, ये बताइए, ये नंबर के साथ अगर आपको 90 मिलते हैं या 95 मिलते हैं, सरकार किसकी बनती है? Do you agree that at 90-95, game is open for both sides? ये तो hung assembly हम दिखा रहे हैं.
आप बिल्कुल ठीक दिखा रहे हैं. ये यदि ये कंडीशन बनती है तो सरकार हम बनाएंगे, क्योंकि ऐसी कंडीशन में जो लोग इंडिपेंडेंट लड़ रहे हैं, कर रहे हैं, वो उन लोगों से भी हमारी बातचीत है. वो लोग भी अच्छे हैं. यदि वो पोजीशन होती है तो सरकार, राजस्थान की जनता जो हमें मैंडेट दे रही है, बीजेपी को ज्यादा खुश होने की जरूरत नहीं. बीजेपी का झूठ, फरेब और धोखा चला नहीं इतना ज्यादा. हालांकि बीजेपी ने इश्यूज पर चुनाव लड़ाई नहीं. ना तो बीजेपी रोजगार पर लड़ती है, ना मुद्दों पर लड़ती है, ना योजनाओं पर लड़ती है, ना काम की बात करती है, फिजूल की बातें करती है. मैंने लोगों से कहा था कि वोटर को ये पूछना चाहिए कि आप मेरे लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे घर के लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे गांव के लिए, मेरे शहर के लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे स्टेट के लिए क्या करेंगे. बीजेपी कह रही है हिंदू खतरे में. जब हजारों साल तक हिंदू खतरे में नहीं था,
हमारे पोल के मुताबिक 80 to 100 बीजेपी, तो बीजेपी का हाफ पे पॉइंट आता है 90. आपका 86 to 106, हाफ पे पॉइंट 96. आप समझ लीजिए कि बीजेपी के 7-8 रेबल्स हैं. आप समझ लीजिए कि राजेंद्र गुड्डा जैसे द फेमस रेड डायरी वाला एमएलए जो शिवसेना के टिकट पे लड़ रहा है इस बार, अगर वो जीत जाए तो किसकी सरकार कैसे बनती है? कौन है वो लोग जो आपके साथ आएंगे? आपके कितने रेबल्स हैं? आपके कितने लोग आप समझते हैं जो जीत सकते हैं?
देखिए, अभी जो आंकड़ा है वो आप जो हमें दिखा रहे हैं वो हमारे पक्ष में है, और ये आंकड़ा हमारा बढ़ेगा. और आप मान लेना कि हम 100 क्रॉस करके जाएंगे. यदि हम 100 क्रॉस करके जाते हैं तो सरकार हमारी है. आज आपका जो एग्जिट पोल आया है,
2014 के बाद का राजनीतिक जो इतिहास है वो दिखाता है कि बॉस, अगर आपकी 96 आएंगी, बीजेपी की 90, तो सरकार तो बीजेपी की बननी है.
एक बार मैं बोल लूं?
बोलिए सर.
क्या कह रहे हैं आप?
मैं बोल रहा हूं 2014 के बाद का चुनावी इतिहास ये दिखाता है कि अगर टाइट फाइट है तो उसमें तो बननी बीजेपी की ही सरकार है.
नहीं, वो बीजेपी की सरकार बननी है या कांग्रेस की बननी है, ये तो सुदर्शन चक्र वाला ठाकुर जी तय करेंगे, ऊपर वाला तय करेगा। ये तो आप हम, लेकिन आपका एग्जैक्ट पोल है, उसका मैं सम्मान करता हूं कि उन्होंने जो एग्जैक्ट पोल दिखाया उसमें कांग्रेस आगे है। मैं तो अभी तो एग्जैक्ट पोल पे बात करेंगे, अब सरकार किसकी बनेगी वो तो 3 तारीख को ऊपर वाला तय करेगा, किसके भाग्य में।
मान लीजिए आपकी सरकार बन रही है, किसके नेतृत्व में बनेगी? अशोक गहलोत जी के, सचिन पायलट के?
अब ये नेतृत्व जब सरकार बनेगी और जब हमारा पूरा आंकड़ा आ जाएगा, उसके बाद एमएलएस की राय के बाद राहुल गांधी जी, खड़गे साहब तय करेंगे कि किसकी सरकार बननी है। ये तो लीडरशिप तय करती है कौन चीफ मिनिस्टर होगा, कौन मिनिस्टर होगा। और ये जब तक रिजल्ट पूरे खुलकर नहीं आ जाते,
कितने एमएलए खींच पाएगा, इंडिपेंडेंट
बेईमानी है। देखिए, इंडिपेंडेंट कुछ एमएलए अच्छी पोजीशन पर है और इंडिपेंडेंट एमएलए भी बड़ी मेहनत से चुनाव लड़ते हैं। तो जो आदमी जीत कर आएगा और यदि हमारा आंकड़ा ज्यादा है सरकार हम बनाने की स्थिति में, तो निश्चित रूप से हमारे साथ आएगा। और ऐसी स्थिति में दोनों पार्टियों की जो लीडरशिप है, आप ध्यान रखते हैं, हम लोग भी ध्यान रख रहे हैं कौन हमारे साथ आ सकता है, कैसे ला सकते हैं, कैसे सरकार बनानी है। यदि 2, 4, 5, 7 सीटें कम रहती है तो क्या पोजीशन रहेगी, वो सब तैयारी हर पार्टी रखती है। हमने भी रखनी है, उन्होंने भी रखनी है। तो ये आप मानकर चलना कि राजस्थान में बीजेपी की पोल खुल गई है। एग्जैक्ट पोल ने जो पूरा माहौल बीजेपी ने बनाया था वो फेल हो गया है।
If these numbers hold, Ashok Gehlot becomes the chief minister of Rajasthan.
True.
Let's be very clear. You know, this
at least till 24.
You know, if these elections are at least for the next couple of years, if on the other hand BJP is around 90-95, Vasundhara Raje will be smiling wider than ever, because Vasundhara Raje has been telling the BJP high command, make me your face. Look at the woman vote. Very rarely would you see. If Vasundhara Raje was the face, she might have well claimed, I'll get you the woman vote. Now at 90-95, with some of her rebels not getting tickets, she will say, this is exactly what Gehlot did last time, Rahul, that she's the front runner. Make me, I'll bring in the others in, because all your other leaders whom you projected, none of them have been able to deliver a clear majority.
Whose independents and others are these? If it's 90 versus 96, who forms the government?
So 1 to 2 of Congress rebel and 6 to 7 of BJP rebels.
The BJP rebels will come back to the BJP. So that's suddenly
Should be,
BJP at 96, 97.
Yes. And
So
that
BJP
is the
96,
precisely
97,
reason
Congress
why.
98.
So rebels has done more to BJP than the Congress, and this is the precisely reason why you see BJP is trailing Congress.
You think it's the rebels because there were about 45 rebels on both sides?
Yes.
You think the rebels have damaged the BJP more?
Yeah, BJP rebels seems to be doing more good than the Congress ones. Rebels numbers is not important. Important is who is making
More
the
good,
dent.
sir, more bad.
Who is
They're-
yes.
Good or bad depends on which side of the fence you're on.
Your exit poll is out of the 6 or 7 out there on Rajasthan.
It's an outlier.
Yours is an outlier.
Yes.
You are aware of that, obviously.
Yes.
Now, and you must
He's
have
always the outlier.
and you must have seen the other polls right now. Do you still hold your view?
I don't know
He
the
says
other
मैं
poll. I
बाकी नहीं
never
देखता.
see what others are
No,
saying.
they are just coming out as we speak.
No, I am saying even before the poll day, I don't know what's going on in the market.
Okay, but 5 or 6 of them are giving like, I think it's like 10 seats more to the BJP over the Congress. They are giving BJP an edge. Some have given clear victory to BJP.
Right. So what's your question?
My question is, you are still sticking to this?
Of course, I have to.
Can I add a caveat? When Pradeep and I saw the numbers, this is the one state where I disagree with his numbers, right? Okay. I actually believe it's advantage BJP. I don't know. I mean, it could be much less than it was 6 months ago, but my sense is I don't agree with the youth numbers. I don't agree that Rajasthan is a state where the BJP has committed that much harakiri that they are down to 80, 86. I still think advantage BJP, but Pradeep and I are disagreeing on that.
Let's get some reactions now to our poll. Sharat Kumar heads our bureau in Rajasthan. He's joining us. We have with us Rakhi Rathod from the BJP, Anshula Vijit from the Congress. Sharat, what's been the reaction and the buzz that you're picking up in Jaipur after the India Today Access My India exact poll numbers went out? This is contrary to initial public assumption, which thought that the BJP would win handsomely in Rajasthan. Each time Gehlot's fought a re-election, he's got hammered. This time seems to be different.
राहुल, मैं अभी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष सीपी जोशी के पास बैठा हुआ था और एग्जिट पोल के आंकड़ों के बाद उन्हें बीजेपी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जेपी नड्डा ने बुला लिया है वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग से जुड़ने के लिए। तो बीजेपी में एक बेचैनी तो हुई है, मगर देखिए जिस तरह से बीजेपी चुनाव लड़ी है, इतना गंदा चुनाव लड़ता हुआ कभी भी बीजेपी को नहीं देखा। कि जहां पर न कोई मुद्दा था, न कोई नेता था, माइनस बीजेपी प्लस मोदी। एक मोदी के अलावा कहीं बीजेपी कहीं नहीं दिखाई दे रही थी। तो इस तरह से अगर आते हैं रिजल्ट तो कोई चौंकाने वाली बात नहीं होगी। और कांग्रेस बेहतर तरीके से पहली बार लड़ती हुई दिखाई दे रही थी। हालांकि देखिए, एग्जिट पोल 2013 का हो या 18 का हो, चाहे इंडिया टुडे का हो, आज तक का हो, अशोक गहलोत को हमेशा से एज देता रहा है। पिछली बार भी 130 सीटें दिए थे, हम 99 पर ही अटक गए। जब हारे भी थे, ये 21 सीटें आई थी, तो हमने इन्हें 60 सीटें दी थी। तो एग्जिट पोल के तो लाडले अशोक गहलोत रहे हैं हमारे यहां भी और बाकी जगह, हर जगह। मगर थोड़ा सा रियलिटी फर्क पड़ता है, जो हमने 2013 और 18 के आंकड़ों का अध्ययन किया एग्जिट पोल का। तो लेकिन ये जरूर है कि इस बार मैंने जो ग्राउंड पर देखा, खासकर से दलित समुदाय, एससी वर्ग का और मुस्लिम का और माली का, गुजरों ने जो नाराजगी जताई सचिन पायलट के लिए, मालियों ने भरपाई कर दी। और आपको हम लोग जिक्र नहीं करते मालियों का, गुजर और मालियों में कोई जनसंख्या में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है। और पहली बार मुख्यमंत्री अशोक गहलोत अपने करियर में बार बार कहते नजर आए, मैं माली हूं, मैं माली हूं। तो वही जगा रहे थे कि वो गुजर अगर उधर दे रहे हैं बीजेपी को, तो मालियों मेरा ध्यान रखना। तो मुझे लगा कि ये माली, मीणा, दलित, मुसलमान, मीणा में थोड़ा सा बट गया है। ये 3M जो है ना, माली, मुसलमान और ये मीणा, ये बहुत ज्यादा वोट दिए हैं। और एससी को तो मैं आज सुबह भी जब दफ्तर आ रहा था तो कई जगह हमने गाड़ी रोककर कौतूहल बस पूछा मजदूरों से, तो अलग अलग इलाकों से आए थे। वो कह रहे थे कांग्रेस को हम वोट देकर आए हैं। जिस तरह से मोदी के समर्थक को पता नहीं है कि क्यों देकर आए हैं, उसी तरह से इन्हें बहुत ज्यादा बेनिफिट तो नहीं मिला, मगर ये कांग्रेस को देकर आए। एक परसेप्शन बनाने में कांग्रेस राजस्थान में कामयाब हुई है कि प्रो पुअर पार्टी है। और गरीबों के, दलितों का लौटना एक तरह से मुझे लगता है 2024 के लिए भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के लिए एक बड़ा खतरा है कि अगर ये वोट बैंक वाकई शिफ्ट करता है कांग्रेस की तरफ तो। जी
नहीं, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, बिकॉज आई थिंक द पॉइंट दैट शरद मेड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, द बीजेपी's inability to seize the narrative in Rajasthan. While I still believe that the BJP could well end up ahead, they were not able to find puncture holes in Gehlot. You see, Gehlot is a very strange kind of politician. उससे आप ज्यादा गुस्सा नहीं कर सकते. You know, he's a relatively benign, low-profile guy. कभी अपनी आवाज ऊपर नहीं करता. When he called Sachin Pilot Gaddar, we were all surprised. This is the furthest this man could go to attack a political rival. He's the old school नेता. सबको पप्पी बिप्पी लेके अपनी राजनीति आगे करवाओ. That is Ashok Gehlot. Therefore, the BJP struggled. Rakhi Rathod of the spokesperson Rajasthan BJP. ये नंबर थोड़े चौंकाने वाले हैं कि नहीं, कि ये जो रिवाज था आपके राजस्थान का, that could be changing. अशोक गहलोत आपके हमारे पोल में आगे नजर आ रहे हैं.
I think, Rajdeep, these numbers would be shocking for you because it happened in 2013 and 2018 also, as Sharad Kumarji was mentioning, that you gave around 110 seats to BJP in 2013, but the exact count was 163. And same thing happened in 2018 as well. You gave 130 to Congress in 2018, but they landed to 99 only. Look, what Mukhyamantri ji is not Mukhyamantri for the first time in Rajasthan. He has governed Rajasthan twice as well. And after his chief ministership, the Congress party has landed to 56 in 2003. And in 2013, it was just 21. So there is a big problem of governance. There's a big problem of delivery.
But he's breaking history. History is meant to be broken, ma'am. History, he seems to be, as per Pradeep's poll, he's breaking history. And even among women, 4% lead among women. Maybe those welfare schemes have worked.
As you stated earlier, I don't agree with this fact that women have voted for Congress party because, women's security and safety atrocities, these are the basic issues in Rajasthan. We have seen in NCRB report as well, number 1 in rape cases. So I don't agree with that. As far as young voters and women voters are concerned, I think they will definitely vote for BJP because of the paper stamps here, and the Congress party leaders were involved in these paper stamps.
The issues of youth, the issues of women, do you reckon came too late in the day in the campaign, in the dying hours of the campaign? You released your manifesto just 4 days before polling, where you talked about women, security, law and order. Most of your campaign, at least 2 weeks, was a highly polarized campaign where you talked about ढांचा गिराना है, where you talked about मुसलमान का वोट नहीं चाहिए. Do you think the polarization didn't really catch on?
Actually, Priya, there were many issues, in fact, and one of the issues was appeasement politics. Dhancha Girana, as you mentioned, it is a very big problem.
I'm quoting speeches made in rallies I attended.
Yeah, actually, there were many issues. In fact, we raised the issue of women's security from last 5 years. We have seen we were on roads, in fact, and we have protested that because Rajasthan was a state like which didn't have that kind of history that women NCRB cases and rape
No, but
cases
can I
are
ask
not
this to
so frequent.
Preeti
But-
since she traveled there? Ma'am, Preeti, this women's security. In studios, it's a big issue. NCRB data is put before us. Rajasthan has had a terrible record as per those data when it comes to crimes against women. When I went, I didn't see women as much worried about security as about health and education, where Mr. Gehlot seems to fare rather well. Did you believe
I'll tell
women's
you why.
security is a
I'll
big
tell you the
issue?
difference why.
Was
Because-
it a big issue? Did the BJP catch on to the wrong issue in
I'll tell you,
Rajasthan?
I think because
If these numbers are right.
the core voter of Rajasthan is largely rural. So security, law and order is not so big in the rural belt where women are concerned, but tangible benefits, ke itna paisa aa raha hai, free mobile phone mil raha hai, Chiranjeevi scheme mil rahi hai, these are, they resonate better.
Annapurna food packets.
Annapurna, I agree.
That's a good point
Mehengai
because-
Rahat Camp, Mehengai Rahat Camp, electricity, water, pension, so many schemes
True.
delivered on
In
the ground.
urban areas, definitely. Urban areas, there were sabhas of the BJP where the bulldozer was there and people were resonating in urban areas.
Can
Jaipur,
I
you
just
saw
put
that.
that? That's the interesting point, Chetan. You write newspaper columns. A lot of talk was about the tragic killing of Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur last year by Muslim extremists. The Prime Minister goes to Udaipur and says if Gehlot comes back, terrorism will return. As the survey is showing, people seem more concerned about health, education, electricity, old pension scheme, which could it could drain the exchequer, but government employees seem to want it. Do you believe that politicians need to recognize that polarization perhaps has limits at times,
It has limits.
especially in rural India?
Yeah, and I think people want better basics. I think that better basic schemes which totally change the game on medical care, totally change the game on education, those people ask what's in it for me right now.
But we keep talking about Hindu-Muslim in studios.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about, how, every election becomes about what do you have to say about terror. Are we also disconnected
But
with
no,
what
Rajdeep,
voters
it's
really
not
want?
largely
I
wrong.
think
It's not
Rajdeep-
largely wrong. Why we say that is look at our own data. You have Baba Balaknath as the top choice for the BJP.
No,
Who's
correct.
Baba Balaknath? He's the poster boy
But
of the
I
next
think
yogi
there is
of
some
Rajasthan.
change.
No, but the BJP couldn't be losing this election if polarization is not taking
It
place.
hasn't worked enough.
BJP is losing because of they have not highlighted local issues. They have not had local leadership in all three states.
It's not. It's an issue, but it's not as strong as it used to be 5 years back. And that, if I were the BJP, I would have a meeting and think about that. We have a Lok Sabha election in 5 months, and the polarization, if that is a poll plank, is blunted a little bit. It's not gone to nothing.
Rahul, is it different for a state election and a general election? That in a state election, the local factors will dominate, let's say, an issue like the polarization on a Kanhaiya Lal's murder?
See, I don't think any one issue or factor can change or completely change the election outcome, right? It's a bouquet of things. Sometimes if you have a strong leader, charismatic leader, organization is working, perhaps you can also gain with a polarizing election. But if other things are not working, then polarization alone can't win you election.
Interesting, because Rakhi Rathod, you want a quick response to that? If you lose, and it's a big if, most other polls are giving you a majority, but if you lose, would it be because you didn't focus on local factors in the way that Mr. Gehlot did?
Rajdeep, I don't agree with you because we also conducted this internal survey in Rajasthan, and according to our internal survey, we are winning here comfortably because there was a difference of just 0.5% votes in last elections, and we will definitely overcome that difference this time. And there's no question, there's no ifs and buts because according to our internal survey in Rajasthan, we are very much comfortable. So I don't agree with these kind of
Abhijit of
things.
the Congress
I
is
think
with us.
the
If
results will be
Chhattisgarh goes the
shocking
way that
results
Pradeep
as
Gupta is
it was
predicting,
in-
Congress also has the edge in Rajasthan, then Anshul and his team would be dancing with Rajdeep and Pradeep on Sunday. The problem though, Anshul, could possibly be that at 96, you can't be comfortably placed, right? Because BJP's 90, some could argue, is worth as much as the Congress's 96. You have to be as close, if not above 100, to be certain that the government is indeed yours in a close fight, like we saw in Madhya Pradesh last time. The Congress can never rest easy.
Rahul, I'm far more optimistic than these numbers suggest, although these numbers have brought me to my edge. In Chhattisgarh, other pollsters have been far more generous. I'm pretty optimistic here. I'm pretty certain that this kind of historical ambivalence we've seen, this revolving door government thing, whatever you call it, will be completely shattered this time. And there's a particular reason for that. That's because the BJP had completely no answer. That is why they got in all these polarizing issues. They got in, for God's sake, Pakistan in this entire election. It had no resonance on the ground. I was there in Kota, in Hadoti, where you've been less generous to the Congress party. But I was there. It had absolutely no resonance on the ground. They tried to throw this communal kitchen sink at this election. They were unsuccessful. And that is primarily because of these enormous policies of the government. This Chiranjeevi scheme is absolutely unprecedented. It's an incredible scheme of 25 lakh rupees, 2,000 crores have already been given. There have been 64 lakh claimants. There have been 1,500 procedures in this. There is Anipurna, there is mobile, there is gas cylinder. And this is not just a weapon for the
How are you going to balance? Anshul, Abhijit, you know your numbers. All these, this is of course for the future. With your old pension scheme, with all these welfare schemes, where are you going to balance your budget? You're going to become a bankrupt state soon.
Excellent question. This is an outstanding question. It must be addressed. I'll tell you what it is. Because Rajasthan had a state GDP of 16%. How do you get money? I mean, this is a question that's all. The answer is very simple. The BJP's tactic of filling their tijori is taking money from the poor and then trying to give it back to them as if they're doing a favor. The only way to get money for welfare without taking from the poor is to increase your GDP, which the BJP hasn't never done.
Does that mean going back to the old pension scheme, which your own government, your own UPA government had rejected and brought in the new pension scheme? You're going to drain your money. How is that welfare? Giving government employees old pension scheme is welfare for you?
No. Okay. We have decided to follow what people wanted. We leave it to the state governments in all states to decide if they want an OPS. They listen to the ground, whatever people want. If they want this kind of social security in their pension scheme, we'll give it to them. How are we going to raise money for that?
Anshul, Abhijit, may I ask you one question?
Government also has to
hand on your heart, how surprised are you with these numbers?
Because every time I spoke, we've done it in Rajasthan. Sorry.
Yeah, Anshul, Abhijit, hand on your heart, how surprised are you with these numbers yourself? Because every time I spoke to the local Congress unit in Rajasthan, you were totally disillusioned. Most of the top leadership there campaigning would say, "Chunav haath se nikalta ja raha hai."
No. I mean, there were historical challenges to be overcome. I'm pretty certain that the schemes actually work because these schemes had resonance. And no election is easy. I never claimed that any election is easy and can be won. It's in your pocket. But it had to be won. Trust of the people had to be earned. I believe that we've done it. In fact, these numbers will show a little far more than what you suggest out here. Chhattisgarh will be far more than what is suggested in the polls, with all respect to all, which is, all the numbers have been given.
What we want to do is,
Rahul,
there is particular reasons for that.
They'll all believe they're winning 2/3. The truth is, the only people who are laughing at the moment, a friend of mine has a small resort near Jaipur. He's saying, मेरा भी resort के बारे में बता देना, किसी को वहाँ यहाँ आना आ जाए, मैं 50% discount दे दूँगा, even though it's high season.
Oh, I thought he's inviting you after the 3rd of December. No such thing.
देखो, the fact is, these numbers present the classic resort situation. There'll be good resorts waiting in Rajasthan for giving you discounted rates.
Padharo Mare Desh is going to happen.
Padharo Mare Desh, yes, exactly. Padharo Mare Resort.
So I want to take our viewers through the caste-wise numbers because that will give you a sense of how different communities and castes in Rajasthan are likely to have voted, and this is priceless data because at 42, 41 can vary, but this directionally is very significant data. So let me take you through how the Dalits have voted. 18% Dalit population, 57% of the Dalits polled by Pradeep Gupta's team said they voted for the Congress, 26% voted for the BJP. Amongst the tribals, 15% of Rajasthan's population is the tribal population. 51% of the tribals said they voted for the Congress versus 29% for the BJP. That's a very strong Dalit, tribal and Muslim consolidation like we saw in Chhattisgarh. Dalit, tribal, Muslim consolidation in favor of the Congress. On the other hand, amongst the general categories, 20% of the state general category voters, 62% of them voting for the BJP versus 22% voting for the Congress. Let's take you through some of the other communities. We look at the Jat voters of Rajasthan, 36% voting for the Congress, 42% voting for the BJP. So BJP 6% up amongst the Jat voters. Amongst the Gujar voters of Rajasthan, 4% of the state, Gujars, 43% for the BJP, 39% for the Congress, so 4% lead amongst the OBCs. 55% voting for the BJP, 29% voting for the Congress, amongst the others 53 for the BJP versus 30 for the others. Now in two states we've seen Dalit, tribal and Muslim consolidation.
Yes.
Because the BJP thought they'd pull the tribal, I've spoken to some senior BJP leaders, they thought they'd get much more of the tribal vote than they've actually got.
That's true, Rahul, because Dalit anyway, they've been traditionally voting more in favor of Congress, but tribals is someone, they never ever aligned with any political party, any part of the India. That is the true story. And whoever take care of them, they always go with that particular party. This is the true story, and it is very difficult to reach out to them, even for the government, for the governance, to reach out to them and do the tricks. It's very difficult.
I slightly disagree. Between 2014 and 19, you'll see election after election, BJP did very well in tribal areas.
Of course, I'm saying
the rise of
That's
the BJP,
what I'm saying.
It's post-2019, and we saw it with Jharkhand. For example, state election in Jharkhand, it was the Congress, JMM that did very well. Look at Karnataka. Karnataka, SC, ST, the Congress swept those seats. I think a shift is taking place in general, to some extent, among those who are poorer and more marginalized.
I said Dalit is traditionally voting, not the tribal. Tribal never aligned. They see the government of the day.
My point is between 2014 and 19, both tribals and Dalits started moving towards the BJP.
That's true.
From 2019 and especially in the last couple of years, where I think loss of jobs, unorganized labor has meant that those at the bottom of the pyramid have suffered.
But that's in the case of assembly elections, not necessarily general.
We don't know. We don't know about general elections. We'll know in 24. At the moment, assembly elections, we are seeing certainly a shift.
But Rahul, what about the elevation of Draupadi Murmu as President of India, which was seen as a big kind of magnet?
That's what we are making a mistake. We are thinking all state tribals vote in one direction. If you look at Chhattisgarh, it's advantage BJP. If you look at Rajasthan, it's advantage Congress.
Prime Minister goes and that Birsa Munda anniversary, and he makes a strong pitch for a tribal vote. So it's not they are targeting the tribal votes of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
Could we have an income breakup? Because I think the income breakup will tell you the poorer. We certainly saw it in Karnataka. The poorer you were in Karnataka, the more likely you were to vote for the Congress.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's true of every state. But certainly in the recent elections, there's been a trend that the more marginalized communities seem to be looking to the back to the Congress, to its what was seen as its traditional coalition. These were all traditional Congress old voters.
So are you saying Mr. Modi's focus is not working?
No, my point is making a Draupadi Murmu is not going to win you the Adivasi vote. You're going to have to see what work have you done. Why is the Congress losing in some parts of the tribal areas? You made various promises for Tendu lead picking, for example.
Rajdeep, poor income-wise breakup.
No, so let's show that to our viewers, the income-wise breakup. And again here, the trend's very different. So the data from Rajasthan suggests the poorer voters have voted much more for the Congress. The richer voters have voted much more for the BJP. There are more poor than there are rich, and that tells its own story. So here it is on your screen now. For those whose incomes were less than 10,000 rupees, which is 41% of the total sample, 40% voted BJP, 44% voted Congress. There's a 4% gap there. For those whose income was between 10 and 20,000 rupees, 41% voted Congress, 42% voted BJP, 43% of the total sample is in this category, 10 to 20,000 rupees income. For those whose income was between 20 and 30,000, 43% voted BJP, 39% voted Congress. This is 11% of the sample. And those who were 30% plus, 46% voted BJP, 38% voted Congress. Those above 30,000 are 5% of the sample. Remember, because this is where the bulk of the population lies, and there the Congress is doing better, which is why the Congress has the slight edge. But Rajasthan really...
If you're in India, you don't want to be the party where the rich people votes for you. You'd rather be on the
Especially in a state like Rajasthan.
And this is showing a trend, Rahul. We captured it to some extent in Himachal. We've captured it now in Karnataka, and you're seeing it now in Rajasthan. It may not necessarily translate into a general election, but if there was one worry that the BJP should have, it is simply that the poorer parts of the country are hurting. The poorer parts of the country
In an
are hurting.
assembly context.
In an assembly
No.
context, now we don't
You see,
know. We don't know whether it's
something is, Mr. Rajdeep sir, they say something is not adding up. If Prime Minister is consistently, feeding 81 crore people, okay, for last so many years and another extension for 5 years, why is it not reflecting? Then where does this whole welfareism goes? And about the
we don't know.
Can I make 2 points?
Yeah, please go ahead.
First, I think BJP, in comparison to the past, is making gains among the poorer segments. Like even in Rajasthan, there is a 3% swing in favor of the BJP. But I think the gap last time was big enough that they are not able to fill.
But may I just add?
Second,
Sorry,
one more
Please
point,
go ahead.
which is I think perhaps it would be better, like when we, Pradeep ji at some point can do this thing for us, where break this like poorer segment, because a bulk of poorer segment, 41% is very, very large. Right, and if we can break that, then perhaps we'll get a better sense of what might be happening.
No, we can
and
do
in
that.
The two states is going in
No,
different.
I'll give you an example. In Rajasthan, why did the Mehengai Rahat camps have to come up? 6-9 months ago, inflation was hurting people. People were paying a large amount for gas cylinders. You had to bring your gas cylinders down to 500 rupees. You had to ensure that people could get food grain at much cheaper prices. Now you're saying the Prime Minister is doing it with it. Sure he is. And he may well get rewarded for it in the general election. But in a state election where my Chief Minister is providing me a Mehengai Rahat camp or giving me a sense, you see, you're giving a sense of care and compassion. Compassion is an important word. Ashok Gehlot, for all his other problems that he has with corruption, failure to act against his MLAs on corruption, he's not seen as a non-compassionate leader.
Yeah.
Ask people how he performed during COVID. They said, "Nahi sir, sarkar ne hamare liye kuch kiya."
Rajdeep, may I-
That is the difference.
May I just add one small thing? I think, you can't conflate both 24 with what is going on right now, because when you speak to the people on ground, kid you not, the Prime Minister is widely popular still. So when you talk about Modi per se, they're very clear. They've made a distinction in their mind that this is a state election and what's going to happen in 2024 is an entirely different game. And they tell you the same voter who might be voting Congress in Rajasthan in this election tells me in the same breath that 24 mein Modi hai.
Yes,
They
Pradeep,
say-
but that raises a
But
question.
are they going to win 25 out of 25?
No,
Because
see-
that's what they need to. Otherwise, you guys will sow -5.